Unfiltered podcast. Honest and uncensored opinions. With Larry Dickerson and Michael Panetta. And now, the Unfiltered podcast.
The Unfiltered podcast is being brought to you today by the folks at Focusrite. With a full line of audio interfaces, they can make you sound top-notch and professional. So check out Focusrite.com today and see what they have that'll work for you. Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to a special episode of Unfiltered, the podcast. Unfortunately, we do not have Larry with us tonight. He is a little bit under the weather. So I am hosting by myself episode 20, and I have a very special guest tonight, Matt Philie from SwashinTV. Matt, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. For those of you who may not know Matt, which I find hard to believe because you're blowing up the interwebs these days with your Pimp My Setup show, which is very good. But we will get into that. As far as what I have, but as you can see, you can follow Matt at Matt Philie on YouTube, and he can go ahead and get you squared up with any questions that you have about setups and whatnot, and just all sorts of stuff. It's just it's a real cool thing that you've been doing with that. So I think that's pretty neat. But no problem. What I want to start with, and by the way, this is the Matt that produced the MKBHD show. So lest we forget how helpful that was. Extremely helpful.
Yeah, coming in clutch.
Exactly.
Before.
Coming in clutch big time. Big time. So I'm just gonna kind of just breeze into this because the couple questions that I'm dying to know, being a noob to the SwashinTV and Pimp My Setup stuff. But can you give me a little bit about what you do outside of this, because everything's pre-recorded, and we essentially do go live doing these, but what do you like to do outside? Do you get away from this at all, or do you live and breathe this right now?
Right now, definitely all about this, because the only things I have going on in my life is college and really work. That's about it. I don't have time for other things because I want this to go, I want this to be my future. I want this to be, the starting point of my career. So I don't do anything other than go to school and go to work. That's really all I do right now. It's sad.
No, that's completely understandable. And that's very, very important, because that piece of paper, it's all about
it means
that.
A lot.
It's all about that piece of paper. Whether you do what you're going to do when you get out, that's a moot point.
Yeah,
you got the piece of paper and whatever it is. So what are you going to college for?
I'm going for graphic design, which
very
I
helpful.
know a lot of people give me crap for that because they say, oh, that's such a little part of the big picture nowadays, which it is. But at the same time, they don't have a major for what I'm into. Like, I would love to see them really break into the online world and bring that to a major, because I feel like it's such a big part of the world nowadays. Like, not just technology, but like the online part of it.
Right.
So I would love if they did that, but they don't. So
that's because they don't know.
Put in my backpack, call it a day.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's going to be up to, I don't know if it's necessarily up to my generation if they would even understand it at this point, but it is close. It might be the generation in between us that could really bring that to the forefront of what we're going to see in college as what's important. They might bring that, and of course it'll be well after you're done that it becomes a major, that you're going to be able to do something like that or study that. I mean, when are we going to see YouTube as a college class?
Yeah, I mean, even in my high school when I went, we had a new media class. They got rid of that after 1 year.
Right.
And I'm like, guys, this is a big deal. A lot of people, learn, like I've learned crazy things because of YouTube. So I wish they really did that, but
Well, I remember when I was in high school, way back when, before you were born. Um, we had like wood shop and metal shop and all that crap. Only a few years later did they get rid of all that, and it's at this point it's all computers, drafting, design, all of that. What you probably saw, computers was a main thing in schools and high schools then, as far as pushing the idea of being able to use computers and knowing what to do. So, it was just part of the generation and just, what schools felt was important. And I think it is important.
It is, yeah.
Because you guys are growing up in this generation of on camera, on computers, and most of the kids know more than adults do when it comes to it, and who are making millions of dollars doing it and are talented. And that's the reason why guys like you, Marquez, you guys are the generation that's going to take over the internet. Well, hopefully you will.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't let you get too big. Steven will be in the room going, "What are you doing? Don't do that." No. But I think it's important that the kids of the generation, around you guys, the teens, the young 20s, keep doing what they're doing on the internet. Make it a solid platform that it's a sustainable resource to live off of.
Yeah, I mean, look at us. We're killing TV. Radio has been, in the down for a while, but we're killing TV.
Right. And that actually took a dive too. That's back up. That wasn't, that was where radio was for a while there. Yep. I mean, you had a thing here and there a little bit, but it's changing again. And thank God, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think reality TV is starting to take a nosedive. I think
I mean, I don't know if I should say it.
What's that?
I'm a fan of reality TV.
See, I stopped watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not into like, the Real Housewives. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm into, like some of the game sort of reality shows.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. Well, no, and that's fine. But unfortunately, I think that's becoming too scripted too.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it used to be either. I think it's getting a little bit, dare I say, like the WWE. It's scripted reality somewhat, Guys still get pissed off each other at the ring and end up taking a hard crack at each other for real. You find out about it years later, but stuff like that. I think that's what the reality games and stuff like that are going through now. But
yeah.
So anyway, how did you get in to all this tech stuff? Was it because of school, or was it just around you?
Well, I mean, mainly I started YouTube. I wish I didn't delete my first account, because I started that, I think, 2007. I was literally just about 11 or 12 years old.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Matt.
It was worse than that, man. It was way worse. I still have a couple of videos that are like 6-7 years old that you could find, and yeah, I had that whole voice. But it was mainly because my oldest brother was like always on YouTube, and I'm like, what the hell is YouTube? But he did like mashups of video games with music, taking different game footage, and it was like a big thing back then.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that, so I started by making Metal Gear Solid mashup videos. Very weird, but yeah, no, it's really how I started. So,
well, if you think about it, that's a lot what you see now. It's just a lot more. I don't know as far as how much editing you got into, because I mean, it was kind of limited back then.
It was Windows Movie Maker all the way.
Yeah, so there you go. So I mean, but that's kind of what's being done now. Just with not necessarily music, but the commentary. But you still have people out there doing it. As a matter of fact, there's a channel, I can't remember the name of it. That I see that he's got over 500,000 subscribers, and a lot of the videos that are on there are exactly what you talked about.
Yep.
Now, of course, they have copyrighted music, so I scratch my head when I look at it and they have ads on it. But that's another story for another day.
It is.
I just don't understand that one bit, as far as all that goes.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the technology and all that, do you care at all about the Android Apple Windows wars that are going on with all that. Did you even get into any of that like we all are?
I did actually, because prior to SwashinTV, I actually had a YouTube channel, which is still up. And I don't know why I'm about to say this, but youtube.com/present day tech. And that's when I was like into technology. You know, I got the HTC Thunderbolt when that came out, the first LTE phone on Verizon. I was always talking about, Apple being copied by Samsung back in the day, like that whole thing. I was so into that. And, I just came to the point where I was like, I really don't like this stuff. And I still don't really like it. I have a hard time watching videos that are, focus around like specs and just like the whole like blah, blah, blah. I like technology, but I don't like it enough from that perspective to really pursue that. That's why it died out so quick. But I mean, I had like 1,000 subs on that channel back when I was 14. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So that's kind of how you got into it, as far as, with all that and to do that. But obviously, right now with all the setups and doing all that, the idea of the technology being used seems to be what's interesting you.
Oh yeah,
at this point,
the consumer standpoint, I like to look at things like I if I see something that's like, ooh, that lights up, I like that, let me get it, like that. I'm not looking at it because like, my God, that has specs. I don't care about the specs.
Right. But at the same time, you do care about how it works.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna go buy something just because it shine. It's like a shiny little TV or whatever. I'll think about it, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna just buy whatever I want, regardless of reviews or whatever.
Right. So your passion, to say the least, at this point, is the consumer side of electronics, and dare I say, broadcasting, producing. I mean, you definitely have the voice for it.
Thank you. Well, thank you. No, but I think that it's sort of weird with the whole broadcasting thing, because at first, Swashin wasn't about setups. It wasn't for the first year, but it's kind of crazy how broadcasting played a big role throughout the whole thing. I was always into that without really realizing how big of a role it played in my life. And, after producing that episode for you and sort of, doing a couple of other side things, I'm like, you know what? I really like producing, and I'm happy that I started doing that. But yeah, I mean, right now, Swashin is just consumer technology setups and I guess a little dash of live broadcasting, because no one else really brings that to the table.
Well, what was SwashinTV? What did you want it to be when you first started?
Well, Swashin, believe it or not, started off as a product-based website, and I don't know how many people actually know about this, a site called Winello, and it was for girls. It's weird because my girlfriend at the time was really into the site, and I was like, what the hell is Winello? And it stood for want, need, love. And I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And it was really smart, in terms of making money, which when I was younger, I was like, yeah, I need them dollar bills. But it was just basically a site where it shows cool products, you could share them, but it was all set up through affiliate links. So I was like, wow, the amount of money they make from crazy teenage girls is insane. So I wanted to bring that to the tech world and sort of the dude side of things. And that's what Swashin was at first. Swashin actually has a meaning, the SW, the A, the S, the H, the I, and the N, but I'm never going to say it because I want to see if people can figure it out, especially since that's not what it's about anymore. But it was originally just going to be a channel of me reviewing products from the site. And that was it. But it obviously has evolved a lot.
So you're not going to tell us what Swashin comes from?
No, because you know what? Everyone tells me, dude, that's an awesome name. It's like a weird word that doesn't exist.
Right.
Well, some people say it's like gargling soap and whatever. I don't even care. But at the same time, I like that it's so unique, and people always tell me that. So I'm just like, I'm not going to say what it's about. It's whatever you want it to be. I don't care. So it is what it is.
Wow. So with all of that and breaking into the idea of, doing other things besides what you really wanted the channel to do, along comes Pimp My Setup. So Tell me how that beast had started? Where did the name come from? Well, I think I know where the name came from. Where did the idea come from? Were you doing anything like that before?
It was weird because, I started SwashinTV, the show, with three buddies of mine. That went on, and then, people left for other reasons and so on and so forth. So we broke that into Swashin Live, and it was just a boring tech show that was just regurgitating every other piece of news that was already out there. So from there, I was just like, we need another idea, because I was still working with some buddies, and out of the blue, I was talking to some people, and next thing you know, we're like, okay, Pimp My Setup. And I was like, I love it so much, I'm going to do it next week. Didn't really happen the next week, but within 2 weeks, we had the show on the road. And in total, there's been like 60, 70 episodes in the matter of a year and a half.
So let me ask you, when you first started off, the idea now, if any of my viewers haven't seen it yet, you got to. It's over on SwashinTV on YouTube, youtube.com/SwashinTV. Links down below in the description and the show notes. What did it start off with, people sending in submissions, or obviously you can find setups online just to say, hey, check out this really cool one or this bad one.
Yeah.
How did it start out? Like, what was the premise?
Well,
I mean, I know the premise, but how did it start out? Did you have submissions already?
Yeah. So what happened with that was, obviously what I wanted to do was start off with submissions, but I had nobody following me. We had, I think, just under 100 subscribers. And I mean, that was a year of Swashin. All I got was 100 subscribers. So I was like, this sucks, whatever. So I had no submissions, nothing to go off of, but I knew all along I wanted it to be, we called it Pimp My Setup because we wanted to pimp your setup. And I know saying it like that, it's like, why isn't it called Pimp Your Setup? But obviously we're playing off Pimp My Ride. So I didn't have any submissions, and that's why we started off with like, let's grab some gaming setups. Let's talk about them, what makes it good, why we like them. And we did that for a couple of different categories. I mean, those videos, yes, they're no longer, but that's what got us to where I am right now. Because we had a couple episodes that got 50,000 views each. And,
right.
And it was because we focused on certain topics. But then I think about episode probably 12. I know it's very specific, but I remember I had enough submissions to do an episode. And back then we used to do like 15 per show, which was crazy.
Wow. How long were the shows?
They've surprisingly stayed about under an hour, maybe 40 minutes at most. Wow. And that's because we didn't have the rating system, which is something I ended up coming up with. But yeah, no, we didn't have submissions in the beginning, and we just kind of grabbed them off like Mac rumors and things like that. So
all right. So when I found you, I think it was either when Dom from Mac Mixing was on, or Carlos Premier Reviewer. I can't remember which one it was. And of course, I'm sitting there and I'm going, "What? Pimp My Setup?" And I'm like looking for it. And I'm like, no. And then I find SwashinTV. I'm like, what the hell is this kid doing? I was like, he seems really cocky and confident about what he's doing, but yet he's got like 3 episodes. I'm like, who does he know? And then of course I start digging, and I ask Carlos, and and it's like, oh no, man, he's been on for forever.
Yep.
So let's take a step back for a moment. Now, you and I had this conversation offline. Now, obviously, I understand, the future's the future, the past is the past, things happened.
Yeah.
But can you give me an idea of just what the original setup was? And like, I asked you this to make sure it was okay. So can you just give me a generalization of who was your partner at that time, and just kind of, generalize for the crowd? Because you had how many episodes before this new season?
57.
Okay, so 57. That's pretty damn well established.
Couple days of content right there.
Yeah, that's a long while. So just give me an idea, so as if I didn't know.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna say his name just in case he claims copyright on the video.
Not a problem.
Because apparently you could do that. And yeah, so the person I was working with, I did obviously 57 episodes with said person, and it was pretty good. Things were going good. People liked our connection because you had sort of the the crazy annoying person that just blah blah blah, which was me, and then you have the more so like professional sort of dry but like informative personality. Mix it together, and it seems to be a perfect mix. But over time, people, it was nothing personality wise. We were great friends. Everything was good. It's just people get to the point where it's like, it's all about this, and it kind of blew up. And by doing so, he tried to take down all the episodes. So my way of saying, okay, is just to privatize them, if that's even a word, just make them private and start fresh. And it's been honestly the absolute best decision and I guess best craziness ever, because if I didn't do that, I would not have branched out. I get questions all the time like, why did you not have people on prior? And the reason is because that other said person was so against it. So when they left and stopped, holding me back from what I wanted to do with my own show, my own idea. I mean,
yeah,
they were there since episode 1, but they never really did anything with the show. I produced, I did everything. That's why the show was exactly the same. It was a continuous, show, even though it was without the other person. But I was able to branch out and, get Dom, aka Mac Mixing on, get all these different people like Carlos. And I think it's been honestly one of the best things ever, because you would probably never found me if it wasn't for that.
No, I probably wouldn't. In this huge space that is YouTube. Everybody has their thing, but
yep.
I like the idea that you have a different guest host every week, and you go over that. It's a refreshing thing to see.
Yeah.
And that's important. No, I don't think anyone else is doing that. Obviously it's a very big space. I'm sure people have guests, at different week for different purposes and different reasons, but your specific brand and your specific idea to what you're doing is definitely, it's definitely interesting and it should pique a lot of interest, as far as all that goes. And I think that's definitely important in branding. And I think you keep going with that, and I don't see why you should fail if you continue just to push forward and, keep making some, tweaks here and there to go through it, which you have been doing apparently, because you've got a new queue system on the setup, on the website, guys. It was before, it was just kind of like just
email it. That's it.
Yeah, it was just email, and but now you can actually go on the site and you can see upcoming shows. So when Matt is talking, you can, look at the picture yourself instead of worrying about the way he crops it down when he puts it into a 3-page.
Yep.
And you have no idea what the hell he's talking about because he has to produce the damn thing by himself. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think that is really cool. And not only that, for the people who submitted, they're able to see when they're coming up. And they can be on the show. And listen, that could either go really, really good or really, really bad. And I'm not talking for you. I'm talking about the guy in the room that's watching. Yeah. For you, it's gold. Because if anything, you got a nice argument going on in the room, and that creates content, and that creates a buzz. And I think that's important as far as all that goes.
Yeah.
So, and again, you get to the idea where most of the people that you have on there are just normal people.
Yep,
and
that's what I try to do at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the day that you start getting the bigger people sending in their setups and stuff like that.
Soon enough.
Which I think would be pretty cool,
Oh yeah.
In that sense, but looking ahead, that's the whole thing. Now, speaking of looking ahead, you kind of mentioned a new idea, but you didn't really go into it. Are you ready to announce that yet? Or are you going to hold off till the new year?
Well, this is the funny thing. I was ready to announce it, but I sort of, and I've been doing Vlogmas, so I've been vlogging every day. I made a vlog called I Hit a Wall. And what sort of happened with that was I had a new show ready, domain purchased, Twitter made, the whole 9 yards. But the reason why I'm not going to do it yet is because everything I do lately is setup related. and that's a good thing and a bad thing. I used to try to like put a couple things in the in between the Pin My Setup episodes, and people would always give me crap for it, like, okay, just stick to setups. Then I stick to setups and people are saying, whoa, calm down there, buddy, do something else, So I decided that in order to grow, I need to branch out. I want to keep doing Pin My Setup weekly and every so often do like a setup video, but at the same time I need to branch out to get to more people. So if I stay doing, if I release this new show and I had 2 brand new shows per week, all about setups, it'd be crazy.
Right.
And I'm limiting who I could be with.
Right.
So I decided, I'm going to hold off until maybe summertime to release that project. And then by 2015, I plan on bringing out a whole new genre of basically content, I guess.
Okay. And is it going to be, just as much as you can say, is it going to be a broadcast-oriented system as such as now, or is it going to be more of a video, kind of like what I do on Tech Examined and what Larry does on Geeky Nerd Dad? And
yeah, I don't 100% know yet. I definitely know it's going to be, sort of videos like you do, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. But I would love to come up with an idea of something I could do sort of like Pin My Setup, where I'm broadcasting live.
Yeah.
Because I had a show called The Fizz, which was hard for me to keep up with, because I don't know, it's just I don't have the topics to talk about.
Right.
But it was just a laid back talk about what everything, and people seem to like it. But that's one of the things people are like, yo, stick with setup content. So I have to figure it out, but I'm branching out, and I would love to bring broadcasting into it.
No, I think you should. And that is one of the main reasons why Larry was so adamant about using the name Unfiltered instead of saying Tech Unfiltered or Unfiltered Tech. Like, we were really, kicking around that, and he just kept saying to me, he's like, just listen, just don't do that. Let's just keep it to Unfiltered.
Yeah.
Because what if down the road, we want to do something else, we have a different topic, and it's like, you know what, you're right, because we could do just Unfiltered and have a podcast about talking to YouTube guys and technology. Doesn't even have to be YouTube guys, just in the tech world itself, but branching out and doing a different show during the week about sports or, comedy or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, and that's I think is important to keep changing. And who's to say that your idea that you had, going with the idea of, sticking in the world of setups, just can't become a part of Pimp My Setup and kind of mold it to whatever it is that you're looking for down the road. So.
True. It's definitely true, because I mean, the most that I'll say about it is that it's not focused on pimping someone's setup. It's not reviewing someone's setup, and because of that, a lot more people I think would like it. Because the problem with Pin My Setup, and people say it to me all the time, they think that I don't realize, is that it's repetitious. It's got a lot of regurgitation of the same feedback, and that, I mean, I get that, but you have to, people are like, why do you talk about wire management so much? And I'm like, do you see the setups I get submitted?
I saw that.
And it's like, I have to keep saying the same thing over and over, because a lot of people that watch my show don't care about it. So I have to make it where it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So
you know what? I saw that comment. I didn't agree. I was like, what you said summed it up perfectly. I've done how many shows, and people still send in pictures, and there's wires everywhere. Because why? It's the last thing people think about when they're doing the setup is, I got all these wires, and I don't know what to do with them. And I think the one major problem is manufacturers don't send out a long enough wire when you're doing a USB wire, Thunderbolt now, the camera wire. Now, it seems like some companies get it, but man, screw it if you're trying to run something along your entire desk and run it down the backside to do it that way. It's so difficult to be able to do that. But usually every wire, unless it's something that's so, specifically done by the company or proprietary, you should be able to find.
Yeah, but
or it's attached.
But do you want
to
pay more? It's one of those things. And That's one of the problems is people get so excited, like, I got a new desk. They put it together. That takes a long time to build. And then they plop down all their things like their monitors. And what do? They just want to plug it in and they want it to work. They don't give two craps when it comes to actually getting that wire out of the way. But when you actually see a lot of these setups and you take it to that next level, it's like, whoa, what a big difference.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And not even that. It's also the fact that, they'll do the best job ever with wire management. And then they have to unplug something. And they're like, oh, screw this. I am not doing this every single time. But there's ways around that. And people don't really care when I say it because look at my submissions, pimpmysetup.com/Q. Look at them. Tell me that I should stop talking about them.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
So
At my old house I lived in, was the first time I mounted a TV to a wall.
okay.
And it was the TV. In fact, I've got it down here in the basement. It's a Sony Bravia. The damn thing's about this thick, and that's thick now.
Yeah.
And it weighs a good 50 pounds. I mean, it's just heavy. But when I mounted that at the wall in my old house, I purposely drilled a hole in the wall behind it, fed everything down, ran it underneath across the room to the other side, and it came up out the back out of the wall. And I had a stand there, and I had the cable box, the DVD player, I had a stereo, I had everything in there, and everything ran into that.
Yeah.
So there was just the TV. So I had a 50-foot HDMI run all the way down around there. I had a laser sight that was wired because I didn't want to go wireless. I didn't find anything I liked.
Yeah.
So I had a hardwire laser wire, infrared. So I could, use the remote on the TV and it would work on that.
Yeah.
And you didn't see any of it,
But see, the problem with the way you were doing that is a couple of things. One, people can't go too crazy, especially a lot of the younger viewers.
Right.
They would love to do that, but mom and dad would beat them over the head with the drill after they do it. And two, if you don't, a lot of these people are like, oh, let me go to Monoprice and buy cheap ass HDMI cable, and the quality comes out like garbage. And they wonder why. But what I always say with TVs is, they have wire molds. You get all those cables, you plop it on, and guess what? If you ever need to change a wire, you plop it right off, change the wire, put it right back on, paint it to match your wall, boom, done.
Right.
So it's not that hard to do, but people just don't take the time and effort to make it happen.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the key is this, the idea that there's always more than one way to do something. That's why you got to think outside the box. And I think that's a good idea for the show. That's what the show's about. People, someone in the room says, Matt Philie, the wire management jerk,
Yeah.
It's
yeah. Hey, I mean, it is what it is. And then people see one I have an iPhone charger on my desk, and during one video, all the comments really? Look at the wire, man.
That's your fault.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be careful when I have wires around my room. I put Christmas lights.
Oh, yeah, you got pounded for that.
Oh, man. I mean, here I am trying to bring in a little bit of holiday joy to the world. And I didn't just mean to name the song, but I tried to bring some joy into it. And people are ripping me left and right saying that, oh, that looks terrible over your setup. I'm like, guess what? When January comes, I'm going to take it down because that's when Christmas is over. So don't worry about it. It's called Be Jolly. For Jesus. Oh,
yeah. Well, that's why I have the background that I have here today. So
be
jolly.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's distracting.
But you kept it up.
Right. And I did these weird little name things here with the textures on them because I clicked the button and I went, ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, man, bevel and emboss.
Yeah, I beveled the hell out of those things to make them look 3D.
Coming from a graphic design major, that makes me cringe. But hey, you're just.
I know. Flat is key these days, but I don't.
Different. Think different. I'm
thinking different
behind you.
Right.
So that's why you do it. That's all good.
Exactly. I'll learn next time. Flat. For that to go that. I like the boxes. The way that you taught me to do that, to bevel them out so it kind of sticks out. But you learn that the names don't need to be.
Yeah. It's progression. It's practice makes perfect.
Exactly. But you know what? Why not do a podcast on this? A video cast on this? Someone joked in the room, oh, next week Larry and Mike are going to have a makeup guru on. You know what? You say that, but there's one thing about people who do makeup that no one else knows that do makeup videos. They have the best lighting.
They really do.
They know how to set up lighting. If you want to learn about lighting and setting up your camera for a shoot, you watch people photography people, of course, and makeup people. The successful people on makeup, they have the best lighting that you see, and those are the successful ones that do that on YouTube. You can tell that they know their shit about lighting.
Oh, without a doubt.
And I know that sounds horrible, and it's like... No, seriously. Sometimes, with learn the white balance and everything, I actually watched a few makeup people someone told me about. And to learn about that, they went through their process, and it's pretty...
Wow.
It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
It's a good little tip
Yeah.
of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, beyond the Pimp My Setup and SwashinTV and what you've got coming up, you've got a lot going on with some of the other bigger... YouTubers in the universe, so I'll let that go for what it is when that time comes. So congratulations on the offline side of that.
Thank you.
I'm really sorry that you had to deal with Steven Johnson at the beginning of your career. Everyone knows he's Tech Johnson, which I giggle every time I hear it. I told him he should have called it Big Tech Johnson.
Yeah.
Everybody gets what I'm going there. Yeah. Awkward. No, but Steve's a really cool dude. So you work at Best Buy.
I do.
Best Buy, I equate to the stories that goes on there much to like Walmart. You gotta have some stories. Like, I want your top 3 best stories that you've been at Best Buy. How long have you been working there?
Over a year.
All right, so a year is like a lifetime in those places.
Especially being, 18.
Yeah, I don't know if now like 3 stories maybe. I don't know. You want to do 2? It's up to. I mean, do you have that many? Okay.
All right. So, well, first off, AO Factory in the chat said, Matt, what happened when you dropped that TV yesterday? Well, funny story. It was so busy that there wasn't even an open register because I'm customer service. So I didn't have an open register for me to actually use. So what I decided to do was do what we call throwbacks, which is take the unopened items or the open box items and put them back on the floor. So I grabbed the cart, threw some TVs on. And
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, I didn't put okay, let's just put it this way. I put a 50-inch TV on the cart. I put a 32-inch TV on the cart, and I put a 19-inch on the cart. Doesn't sound like a good idea, but I've done it time and time again. I've taken 75-inch TVs back on a hand truck, and I've done a little bit of everything. So I wasn't too worried. I didn't really care. I was done with the day. So, I mean, really, I still had a couple hours left, but I was so done. And here I am with the cart, going, walking. Have to be really slow because people just come out of nowhere. I've hit a person before with a cart. Long story. And then
another story.
Yeah. And then basically I was just going, and I took a turn a little too quick. Next thing I know, 50-inch TVs slid across the floor. Maybe did half a roll. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy how that actually happened. And just kind of, I pretend like nothing happened. I put it back, and let's just say it's on the sales floor right now. And I feel bad for anyone that buys that TV, but it's happened before. A lot of people have dropped TVs, smashed them, and it's not a big deal. We got them back. They return them. We could tell that it was damaged, and that's that. So,
hold on here. I'm getting real close to the camera. Setting up my microphone here real quick. Matt, what store do you work at so I don't go in there?
Oh man, dude, you'll be surprised how many people get damaged TVs. And
I believe it.
It's insane.
Shit.
Like if anyone follows me on Snapchat, Swashin, every other day I'm posting a picture of a smashed TV. Actually, just on Sunday I was playing with it. Like whenever there's a smashed TV, I play with it. I tap it and it does like a light show. It's the coolest thing ever. So if you ever check out my Snapchat, that's what I do.
Oh, that's a reason to follow you on Snapchat then.
Yeah, just doing some advertising. But but yeah, let's see. Okay, so probably the craziest story I could think of is about this crazy lady that came in one day. She came in to do a return of something she opened, didn't have all the pieces to it. she wanted to talk to a manager. I wasn't the one helping her, but she wanted to talk to a manager, goes absolutely insane, screaming like, I want to return this. It didn't come with this. Yes, it did. No, it didn't. Back and forth, craziness. And, that's just people being crazy, even though they definitely had those items.
What was it? What was the item?
It was basically like a baby monitor. So they were missing like batteries and parts to the camera and that whole thing. But that was that. The manager said no. She flipped out and she left. Week later, she comes in. I'm like, this lady looks very familiar to me. Next thing I know, I'm the one that has to deal with her. She brings in the same damn thing, wanting to return it again. Except this time, not only does she not have everything, she's also out of the return policy, which is one of the biggest problems I deal with on a daily basis. And she was maybe 50 times more pissed off, which was wonderful for me. But I'm that douche that will be like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. All right. Let me see what I could do for you. And it drives them through the wall. And I do it because it's the best thing ever. And this lady was just not having it. I took my walkie because, I rock that walkie on a daily basis. And I'm telling my general manager that the crazy lady's back with the same thing. And he's like, oh, hell. He's like, I'm on lunch right now. I'm not dealing with this. And I'm like, yeah, but
I'm not either.
Leave me hanging. And none of the managers wanted to do it. No one at all. They just wanted me to get her to leave. And I'm like, I can't get her to leave. What do you expect me to do? So
the only way you can get her to leave is to get her damn money back.
Yeah, and the best part is that I am the only male in customer service. So I had no one that was there to like come back me up, so that because normally when you have two males saying no, it's like, yeah, but when you have a girl, it's like, yeah, okay, get me to your manager. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. I don't believe that that's true, but that's how customers treat girls at customer service.
The opinions of Matt Philly are not necessarily agreed upon by this broadcaster.
I don't have a problem with it, but I could tell a lot of girls. A lot of customers don't think girls really have a value. Like, long story. But,
all right, stop.
Yeah, I got to cut it off there. But so basically I couldn't get this lady to leave. She's freaking out in my face. Like, literally, the counter is like that wide. I mean, it's probably too big for me to even show in the frame. And she's like getting in my face, leaning over the thing. I'm like, she's gonna hit me. And I'm like, if she hits me, first off, this is gonna be great money.
Yeah, it's going down.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not even gonna touch her. I'm gonna let her beat me up, and I'm gonna make it look like I'm dead. And I'm gonna be sleeping with just money all over me. But because I'm what am I gonna do? Like, beat the shit out of some lady? Like, I don't care. I'm like, beat me up with your baby monitor that's missing all the pieces. I don't care. But basically, long story short, she's just going at me, screaming. Next thing I know, she throws something at me. But out of all the objects she had at hand, what is it that she would take? Plastic bag. A plastic Best Buy bag. Do I need to paint the image for you? It literally, she threw with all her might. I'm just watching it come at me. I'm just like, oh no. And what happens? It hits the counter before it even gets close.
You should have did like a total like red.
Yeah, I should.
Oh, my back.
If it came anywhere close to me, I would have played it off. If it was like a part of the baby monitor, I would have made it into a big scene. But she threw that, and
you start laughing.
I laughed my ass off. I laughed, and that made her even more pissed off.
Well,
she was like, why are you laughing at me? And I'm like, you just threw a plastic bag at me. And here I at this point, I'm unfiltered. I have no, I don't care what I say to this lady.
I hear you.
I'm just like, are you serious? I'm like, did you really just throw a fucking bag at me? And she's just like, she just realized how stupid she was. So she felt stupid, and because of that, she grabbed everything and started to storm off. And as she's storming off, she's like, you dickhead and this, that, and the other. And she's like calling me all these things, thinking that it's my fault.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, you forgot a piece. Like, she literally forgot a piece of her baby monitor. And I'm like, if you go to return this to a store, you need all the pieces.
Oh, you don't have them anyway.
Yeah, I gave it back to her, and she was done. She walked away screaming like, you dickhead. And yeah, she's actually literally banned from the store. We have her name, a picture of her and everything. She's on the banned list.
Do not let this wacko into the store.
Hey, it happens all the time. Last story.
Yeah.
This is a quick one. We have a thing called Code Blue, and if we call Code Blue, it's Code Blue technically. It's that you see someone stealing. And every other day it's like Code Blue, and they're like going after a guy because he's like shoveling a freaking MacBook Pro into his pants, and it's like, come on, dude. And especially the store I'm at, it happens so often.
Wow.
But I just saw someone stealing, and it got bad because when I called it, they didn't get to the lady quick enough. So this lady went into the bathroom. And what they try to do there is open everything, put it in their pocketbook.
Oh, wow.
And leave, which makes sense. It's a very smart way to do it. But the guys, the AP guys, the yellow shirt guys in the front of the store, they're watching you. You think they're doing nothing up there? They got you. They see every person.
Right.
And the lady went in there. So they're like, we need a girl to go into the girl bathroom and confront this lady. All the girls like, no. But we had this one lady that was like, she thought she was like a boxer or something. She goes in there. She's like, okay, I'm going in there. She takes off her earrings and she's like, let's go. And I'm like, oh my
no.
God. And next thing I know, they had a couple like, Best Buy employees standing outside the door waiting for the lady to come out. Yeah. Next thing you hear someone being slammed into like the towel dispenser.
Oh, wow.
You hear like people being thrown around, screaming. So they had to bust open the door. And yep, they were in a fight.
Holy cow.
Like a full-fledged fight. And they somehow get them out of the bathroom, and they're going at it. I mean, the girl that works there is just like blood all over the place, and they're going crazy. Next thing the police come, and that lady got arrested. But normally, if you steal from Best Buy, they'll let you go. So fun story.
But, okay. So they'll let you go if you give it back?
Yes, most of them. It depends what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
Like if you're like sliding a case out and something, they're like, okay, give it to me or we're calling the cops.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But if you say no the first time or you hesitate, then they call 911.
They call.
Yeah.
I worked at a grocery store, so I know your issues on it on a different level, because you wonder why people steal stuff at a grocery store and act the way they act when they get caught.
Yeah.
We've had some knockdown, drag out fights with people. It was amazing.
It's
so
crazy
much
what
fun.
people will do nowadays.
You could take your anger, like back in the day, like this is back in the 90s, even when it's not really back in the day, but you could get away with like some rabbit punches, like when people are on the ground and just like kind of kicking them. Well, we had one dude, I kicked him right in the junk because he would not stop moving.
Oh my
And you just
God.
hear this, and he's laying on the ground, and I was like, I told you not to move!
Well, you see, the best part is that I don't get involved in that.
I loved
if
it.
anything like that happens, like Black Friday, so many crazy things. We have I guess every Best Buy is like this. They have I guess that they're old retired police officers, which isn't really the best because when I say old, they're old, but they come with weapons and they come with all that stuff. It gets scary on Black Friday. This past Black Friday, they'll pull out their weapon and stuff, like, to a degree. And when I say weapon, I'm not saying they're pulling out a pistol. Like, they'll bring out like a nightstick. They'll bring out like, they have pepper spray, tasers, and dead on. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow. That could be a show in itself,
Oh yeah.
You're like throwing out ideas. That's copyrighted.
Oh, it is. I got the Twitter name for it already.
Best Buy. Swashin' Best Buy.
I used to do a thing called whenever I work, I do hashtag BBY Chronicles, and I literally would tweet stuff, and it was the best thing ever.
That's hilarious.
I had a guy that was like, oh, my son is in a surfer band that's #1 on iTunes right now. I'm like, a surfer band? What the hell is that? And then he's like, yeah, my daughter's dating Jonah Hill. And I'm like, And he's telling me that his daughter was like a supermodel. I'm like, then why is she dating Jonah Hill?
It's Jonah
Like,
Hill,
whatever.
man. What are you talking about?
All the time though. That's the kind of things I deal with. But yeah.
All right. That sounds like fun.
Yep.
Wow. So, all right. So that was the Best Buy Chronicles. That's
Yep.
actually a good idea. You should
I know. That's
take that.
It's gotta be careful because if I get fired because of it, you know.
Yeah. What do you
Gotta
got
be
to do?
careful. But
Does anybody at Best Buy know what you do?
yeah.
Yeah?
It's not a good thing
Why?
because I don't want people knowing. I only have
Right.
like 2 or 3 guys that know. And the one guy, he's always like, whenever I see him, he's like, "Oh, it's my Philie from Swashin, la, 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 la." And I'm like, all right, dude. But he's salty because he wants to be on, you know, Pimp My Setup and things like that. But everyone else, you know, the people that do know, the 2, 3 people in total that know, they think it's cool.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't like check me out all the time or anything.
Right. See, what I thought when I first saw was, you know, because you're doing all the setups, I thought you were, you know, you might have worked in the setup area, you know, and just setting up TVs and, you know, part of the Geek Squad and all that sort of stuff. I didn't know how old you were. I was like, yeah, this guy's, you know, he's like, you know, doing the videos on the side. He's getting all the, you know, all the tips and tricks because he's doing it. But then I realized that you just worked there part time.
Well, the funny part about it is
You talk to all those
wouldn't-
guys. You're like, hey, can I go along with you?
Well, it wouldn't matter if I was Geek Squad or I was Home Theater or anything like that because they don't know shit. But hey, I mean, it's you know it's bad when I'm helping sell a TV for Home Theater and I'm customer service. So
Yeah, that is pretty bad. But
It
I
is
know how
what
you
it
feel.
is.
You know, like I joked, I said if I got a job there, you know, it'd be like, I'd be all enthusiastic. I'd be like, wow, come on, man. You got to help these people out. I don't know.
yeah, all the time. Yesterday, someone was like, "Oh, a customer needs help with their iPad. Can you help?" And I'm like, I mean, I don't really know much about iPads. I ended up helping her because she just needed help setting it up. But all the time, they're like, "Can you help them with this?" I'm like, I don't know anything about that. Meanwhile, I'm like, it's so easy.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what happens when you got like an Apple store in your store. You got to know everything.
Yep.
And that's another story for another show. The marketing strategies of Best Buy broken down into what it used to be and what it is today.
Yep.
Because you definitely, they're definitely. I wouldn't say that they've gone HH Greg, but they're. I thought they were going that direction, but they're not.
I don't know what direction they're going anymore. It's
Well, you
confusing.
walk into HH Greg and you're like, it's clean in here, like, and everything's just so neat.
Yeah.
Like you're afraid to touch anything in there. You know, it's just like, geez.
Well, I wish people were afraid to touch things at Best Buy. I mean, it's just like a madhouse. I'm like, what is this doing over here? You know?
That's funny. Wow. So, I've been kind of monitoring the room. I don't know if anybody really has any questions for Matt. I guess just a couple more things I want to ask you. Just expanding on the idea of like your setups and all that stuff. In your eyes, what would be your ultimate setup? Now, not even necessarily worrying about, you know, like you said, the specs on the equipment, but like how much, like, would you want a lot of room, or are you a minimalistic style when it comes to a setup? I mean, obviously, everything needs to be hidden away, but yet easy accessible. But like,
Yeah.
would you build a custom desk to get that?
2015, I'm going to be building a custom desk.
Wow.
I'm redoing my whole room.
Okay.
From the paint on the wall to the bed I sleep in. And
Be a bed.
dude, I'm rocking a twin size bed. That's what I do for a setup. That's what I'll sacrifice my sleeping to have room for a bigger desk. So that's what I do.
Uh-oh.
But
You'll be sleeping on a futon when it's all said and done.
hey, I just got the Ubuntu Revolution, and I'm about to just sleep in that so I can fit it in my room.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, it's a race simulator. The chair is very comfy. I'll just put that out there.
Yeah.
But all right,
That's
so
funny.
as far as like a dream setup, definitely to sum it up without going into too much detail, I would just say got to have a custom desk. Everyone should have a custom desk that's able to, because you make it work with the area, and obviously you got to put a lot of planning into it so that you know it's future proof and things like that. And I would definitely kind of have room for like a little mini studio to film things. And let's see, I'll probably make that like a green screen, chroma keyed wall color right there. I would also kind of elevate my desk a little. Kind of a weird idea, but you can run all the cables underneath it, which is kind of a cool idea. I would also, let's see, I would have maybe dual monitors, 4K, which is a lot. And a lot of people think, why don't you have triple monitors? And I'm like, I don't need triple monitors. I definitely don't want one monitor. I would love to have just two 4K monitors.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
Yeah, maybe even two ultra wide. That'd be nice.
That'd be nice too.
But I if I got two ultra wide, I would want to put them on top of each other, and that would just look. So I just get two 4K.
Okay, I understand that.
But yeah, now just really, I like everything I have. It's just a matter of putting it together in a custom way.
Right.
I don't know. I could go on for hours, but I'll keep it at that,
No, that's cool. Now, I want to redo all this right here and, paint all this yellowness, that's horribleness that I moved into. But my ultimate thing is, you always talk about cable management and, out of sight, out of mind. But sometimes out of sight, out of mind doesn't necessarily mean it's practical for the person who has to go in and out of it. So I have a whole idea that I want to do with a setup where it would basically be a false wall underneath your desk that would come off like via magnets or something like that, but also accessible on top with like, either magnet tops that would just come up or fold up, but all the wires would be down there. And you would use those corkboard style management things that you have just to run the wires through to keep them all. Like it would be I'd buy like 30 of those and just put them on the wall on the inside and just run all the wires down that way and do that. So you've definitely got me thinking about that. So I may actually have to drag you down here.
Oh, let's do it. Let's make a whole Pin My Setup.
Yeah, to work it out, because everything that's here is going up in the garage, because it's a perfect workbench for a garage. Yeah. Not for an office. Like back there might stay, but I do like a different top, like a white top or something like that for shooting videos on. Yep. And a much better paint job. Get rid of all the stupid hats. I mean, my hats aren't stupid, but that's a dumb place for them. Yeah. Well, so, I see what you're saying, and honestly, there's so many different things you could do. And like for me, when I do my custom desk, I'm gonna have like they're basically like metal poles and feed the cables through it. I'm gonna have little kind of the IKEA Signum, the basket that catches the wires. I'm going to have built in, hidden within the desk, a way where all the cables will lay. Right. I don't want cables touching the floor at all. Nope. That's my biggest pet peeve. So I agree. Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely, and I'm probably going to bring in like granite countertops. As weird as it sounds, I used to have in my old setup, I had, from Home Depot, just granite countertops. Looks really, really nice, but it depends how you make it happen. So I see Justin is saying lose the kitchen cabinets. Yeah, with your setup. I don't really care what Justin has to say, but anyway, it makes it nice when you're standing at it and everything's is right at you, so you're not like leaning down or going too far up. But yeah, I want to adjust. I want at least do the different colors. But yeah, on the desk side, I can't sit in a drafting chair this entire time. It gets to the point where you're like, I like to have my feet on the floor instead of on the ring that goes halfway up. But yeah.
Well, what about the up desk or whatever that is?
I don't think that's big enough for what I want. I want a nice, because like you said, at least two monitors, at least 27-inch, whether it's whether I do 4K or 1440, it just depends.
They're not very practical. What it comes down to.
What's that? The 4K?
No, the up desk.
No, it's not very practical.
Especially for wire management.
Right. So that's, I'd rather do something on my own, like you said, with whether it's hollowed out or it's boxed and it's open on the back, so you run the cables in that way, so you can at least get to them, or a false back, But like I'm thinking of things like whether you run whether you have the desk sit out from the wall and then you have the drop down behind it where all the wires go, with maybe like a little channel that would be open where the wires would just drop down in. If you have the monitor, the wires would go behind the monitor right down behind it, or kind of like when you drill the holes like they have in desks and they put the plates in them. I would want to do something that's flush if you're not using it. So like you almost get the color of the desk, and the plug would go in there, and underneath you would have like things that would hold it in place, and it would just be flush.
Yep.
You know, and
There's so many different options. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And I want to hide my mixer when I'm not using it. I like want to push down on it and like have a thing slide across and
cut out the the desk. Have it
Yeah,
go inside.
I got so many ideas of things that I want to do.
Yeah. Like the last thing I'll say is I really, really, really want to get like not just a light switch, but like some switches built into my desk that I could flick and control different lights in my room. I want lights over by my studio, flick that switch, those lights go on. I want, because I'm not getting any more normal bulbs. I'm going all Philips Hue.
I don't blame you.
And for instance, like my phone just went off because someone subscribed to Swashin. With if this then that, I could have like my whole room like do a crazy lightning bolt when someone subscribes. I'm here to take it to the next level, man. That's what I'm all about.
Dom from Mac Mixing can help you with that.
Oh yeah.
I think you need to go full blown Android to do something like that.
Oh, dude, I'm not going Android. Done.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So yeah, if anyone else has any other questions, I'm just gonna wrap it up here.
I saw one that I'll touch on real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brian. Shoot. He said, Matt, you want to reveal how you set up, broadcast, produce your stream?
It's a lot.
Yeah, if you look at obviously what Mike's been doing, he's getting the hang of it. It's not the end of the world. It's just a matter of doing it.
Right.
And I would love to do it, but then I feel as if I've already had so many people copy me with the setup stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying anyone's like, I don't care if you do setup related content. That's not copying me. I didn't start setups. But when you do the same thing I'm doing in terms of, the Pimp My Setup Twitter and things like that, then you're copying me. Yeah. Like my old co-host is now copying me with his own Twitter, which is very cute and sad at the same time. But the funny thing is, if I show people how to do an episode of Pimp My Setup or anything in Wirecast, just picture all of the ripoffs. Pit my so-and-so or whatever the hell it is.
Well, that's what's going to happen, whether you do it or not.
That's why I'm just not doing it.
Right. But I don't think...
For now.
Right. I don't think giving someone a tutorial on that. But you know what? That's not in this realm that you're doing right now anyway.
Yeah. Me,
on the other hand, I would do a tutorial on how to set up Wirecast.
Yeah. And
to do that. But, like you said, you have a system that you're doing right now. You're not a tutorial guy. You're not that's not what you're set up to do. Yeah. This is your baby, this is your thing. Unless you get into that where you start saying podcasting or broadcasting 101, then I would say to you have to do that.
Oh, without a doubt. I had the idea because a couple of people actually, told me to do it. Have like a webinar where, $5 to get into the webinar, and I'll show you from the beginning of setting up a Pimp My Setup episode to the end of getting it up on YouTube, how I do it step by step, the ins and outs. And I was like, that's cool, and I like that, but I don't know how many people would really care for that, and how many people want to give $5 because they're saying like what you have right now with the formula of how you do step by step is sort of like still just a mystery to so many people.
And it should be a mystery until you are comfortable with it.
That's the thing. Like I have it down pat. Like I could do an episode, have it, ready. Like I haven't started. I have an episode tomorrow at 1 p.m. I don't have anything ready.
Right.
But that's because I could do it like this. But for other people, if they try to mimic me, like let's just say this. The person I used to do the show with, the reason why they haven't started their own similar show, which they could very much do, is because they're not capable of doing what I do. Mm-hmm. And I hate to sound like sort of like all about myself, but
no,
he didn't do the producing of that show, and that's why he can't duplicate what I do. So
no, I spent the week because I did not know what I was doing with Wirecast, and thankfully you helped out with MKBHD.
Yeah.
From that night on, I was nothing but tutorials on how to do Wirecast and how to set it up. And of course, there's the end portion of getting it live that now I know, and it makes it complete, and it makes it to the point where it's like, and I know some people were joking, or whether they were joking or not, about the background being a little bit too loud. But you know what? Yeah. I did that because it's the holidays.
Yeah, who gives?
And I want it to be festive. And I'm going to edit this up, and it's going to be, like on next Tuesday, it's going to be live. And I'm going to put it on, or whenever I put it up. But I was kind of hoping, this is might be the last show till after Christmas, and just take a week off. And I want it to be festive with it. I want it to, kind of
why not?
kind of make it a little bit more than just that. But now I know what to do. I can take a background that sits there, and you can see that in our window right here, it looks like we're projecting out from the background.
Yep.
And I think I accomplished what I wanted to do in that, and just doing with the red and the green theme. But when it goes back to get into business, it's going to be a professional background with the logo and the subtle colors on the names to make it pop, so people can go, hey, everything looks clean, it's neat. And again, I'm just learning. I'm going to change things up as they go on. Yeah.
And Tomas said in the chat that there should be no mysteries. You should teach the world, contribute to evolution of our fellow men/women.
That's fine. But if you're not ready to teach it yet, you don't want to. If you're not comfortable in teaching, but you're still learning too.
Yeah, I mean, and
you've been hurt. I think that's the case here. You've been mistreated, and someone what's the word I want to say? Someone stabbed you in the back, and that's hard. That's tough to recover from. You have a lot that you had held close to your heart. You let that person. I'm sounding like a freaking Dr. Phil.
I wonder where you go with this.
You let that person into your world somewhat. Whether or not they wanted to learn the rest of it, it didn't sound like it at this point. But they got a certain portion of it, and they felt like it was theirs too. Yeah. So you've been betrayed. That's the word. Betrayed. You're like the woman in the relationship. Whoops. Sorry. Now I'm like it. So I can understand that you're like, just let me do the show for now.
Yeah. Well,
just, let me get big, and then I'll be like, okay, this is how you do it. No, I'm like,
well, that's the thing. Like, I do kind of see it where, because trust me, Tomas, I would love if everyone knew how to use Wirecast. Because if you look at it, no one broadcasts live, and if they do, they utilize software like, well, not even software. They utilize Google Hangouts.
Google Hangouts. Sorry, wasn't paying attention.
Done. It's like not worth it. It's great for hanging out, which is why it's called Hangouts. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to producing a show, it's like it's different. So,
as you can see.
Yeah. And trust me, I want to teach everyone. It does kind of have to play into the fact that, I don't want these people trying to copy me to know, because I feel as if, and I'm not saying that Dom Esposito would ever do anything like that, but when he originally replied to my email, he's like, dude, you have to show me how you do that.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, anytime, dude. But the problem is, you get one of those big guys that I've never talked to. They find out how to do it. They take my idea. They could reach anybody. And what happens to the little guy? No one knows about me. They're like, bye-bye.
Right. Well, that could happen regardless of you.
Oh, if someone knows how to use anything like this, they could do it. Yeah. They could kill me. MKBHD, who's done the setup project and all that, he could kill me right now.
Right. Austin Evans. Austin's got it,
Lou,
I mean, yeah. But that's the risk that you take, though. That's why you do what you do. Now, you've shown me a lot with that, but my direction and what I'm going. I'm not going to sit there and go, I'll do setups. If I'm going to do any kind of setup show or any kind of, first of all, it's not going to be a show. It's going to be an episode. Yeah. You're going to be on it.
Yeah.
And you're going to be the expert in doing that. So, like, if I do this, I'm going to, you'll be helping me every step of the way. You'll be on video. You'll be doing that. You're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
So that's different.
The main reason why I told you, I didn't even think about it. When I was telling you how to do things, or when I produced it for you, I wasn't even thinking about it, because I love to help people. I love to teach. And I think that it's definitely important, like Tomas was saying. And that's why I was helping you. And then I realized, like, what if you use this for evil? Not that you ever would.
Use this for evil.
trust me, my first instinct was to help you, and I think you messaged me 15 minutes before the show saying, "Oh, I can't get it to work." So I said, "All right, got you." And
that was so. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, so I mean, and yes, the Tech Buzz, he I don't know, I could never like he's very smart when it comes to that. I can never watch his tutorials, and to be completely honest, I hate saying it because people say I'm so full of my own I have a big ego, but I never watched any tutorials on Wirecast because every tutorial I watched confused the shit out of me. So I just used the program and I'm like, oh, it's that easy.
I use the basics. And then I start playing with it the rest, start trying it out.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. The only thing I knew how to do in Photoshop before starting to do this was erasing the background so I can get rid of the background and make a watermark.
Yeah.
So what you saw me do by you just kind of giving me a few tips, I did by going in and going, oh, how do I do this? And how do I just playing with it and then going that route, because you sent me that template and I'm like, I don't want to use your templates. I want to learn,
which is good,
how to do it. Yeah,
which everyone should do. You should not go to a site and download the PSD for something that you need and just say plop, done.
Right.
I think that you should take that and be like, oh, okay, they apply this, they do that. Okay, new window, make it
myself.
And it's like, okay, wow, that wasn't that hard. And now you know that, and you don't need that tutorial.
Right. Like for the, and I apologize for the folks listening to the podcast. That's why you can go to Unfiltered on YouTube and watch the show and see what we're talking about if you have time. But this 2-shot that we have set up that everybody's seeing right now, they have templates on here that I could use. But why would I put a template of something that doesn't look like the single shot of Matt that's popping up right now or myself that's popping up right now when I could do my own and it look exactly the same and it's consistent across the board?
Yep.
Unless something is completely different where, like if it wasn't a holiday show, I would say to Matt, hey, can you do me a favor? On your single shot, I want to put Pimp My Setup on there. And to do that, like the next time I have you on the show, it will be your single window. It will be from Pimp My Setup on the background.
Yeah.
Because then that way people say, it's Matt from Pimp My Setup, to do that. And I think it was important this show for me to have the Twitter names on there. And I didn't have that last time because it was just a basic, let's just get through it. Let's, do it this way and keep it clean and simple because you were building it for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, can you do this for me with 5 minutes left to go?
Yeah. Oh, that was. I was surprised I got it, and then of course Wirecast halfway through was just like.
That's all right. That's okay. I had the same issue with John doing the show last night when we recorded that, but luckily I had Reaper recording the audio.
There you go.
And what I did was when we lost the audio feed on the video, I just clipped it in, and you couldn't even tell. It just
yeah. That's why it's good to always have backups of backups of backups.
Backups of backups of exactly. So with that being said, folks, we're gonna wrap it up because we actually got kind of off on a tangent and a good conversation, so that was nice, and that's why I just kept going with it to do that. But I definitely want you back on the show to specifically talk setups and have my own brands of questions with that, and maybe we'll do something special together with my office to do that because. I kind of have the funds that maybe other people, that are younger may not necessarily have. So it'll be fun to be able to spend my money to be able to do something like that. So, but at the same time, it to help promote what you do. And
yeah, that'd be fun.
Maybe down the road you open up your own shop and you're doing your own. Oh, God, you don't even want to think of that.
Yeah, trust me, I've thought of all the different possibilities.
You stay clear from that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
just talk about the setups.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it easy for now.
So, all right, everybody in the room that's listening to us currently on the podcast, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Again, Matt, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
And since I have the floor, God, I don't know when it's going to happen or when you will do, but Larry and I want to be on the show.
Yep.
And we're begging, be on the show. And I know that's a little bit more production work for you. So if you want me to produce that, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, whoa, yeah. Let's keep it with the professional.
I was going to have Matt produce this show.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, do you mind doing that?" And I was like, "Well, I'd rather not." But
Well,
yeah, no, I
besides
definitely I want to have you guys on.
I-
Except having all of you on at the same time, it's a lot of work.
it is a lot of work, but you know what? It can be done because I did Rettinger last night, and those three of us.
True. The only thing is my Sir's rating system is that of 100.
What's that mean?
My setup rating system.
Oh, I see what you. Oh, maybe you'll have us on
Yeah.
separately then.
Yeah, that's.
Or
what I
maybe
do.
one of us don't count for the rating, and the other one just sits there and talks.
True.
I'd give
That's
it to
a
the
good
young
idea.
guy Larry. I'd let him rate. I'd just be on there as this comic sidekick. the jackass. So for once, you're not the jackass. I am.
There you go. I like that.
It's all good, right?
Yeah.
I'll just chime in. I'll be like the little window at the bottom of the screen. Hey guys, shut up, Mike.
Yeah, we'll just minimize you.
Yeah, the story of my life.
Yeah.
So, but thank you so much for coming on, Matt, and
Thank you for having me.
and sharing the information. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, I implore you to go over and check out Matt's channel at SwashinTV. Links are down below. You can follow Matt Philie on @MattPhilie, MattPhillie.
One L.
1L. Oh, God, I misspelled that on that, didn't I? Oh, that's horrible. It was so funny because he told me that I spelled everything wrong. I went in and put 2 L's in there. Oh, that's wrong.
He did this during the MKBHD episode too. Give me a nice shout
Yeah.
out. He's like PHILLIE, and I'm like,
Well, no, because he told me that I did Matt PHILIE, and he's like, the guy was like, is that what he said?
no, because in the description you did 2 L's without the I.
No, I didn't. I had PHILIE.
Oh yeah, you did PHI. Okay, yeah. You just messed it up. That's what you did.
Yeah, I had it right the first time, and then I got all discombobulated. That doesn't matter. I have to edit this up, and it's going to be fixed when it's done anyway. Through the magic of editing,
Wonderful.
people are not going to know. Look, I saved it right now, and it's fixed.
There you go. Perfect.
So, MattPhilie on Twitter. And
Yep.
if you don't want to sit there and try to figure out how to spell it, links are down below. The owner, proprietor, and host of Pimp My Setup, you got to check that out. That's over at SwashinTV, so that's one less link to remember about. And please go over there and subscribe to the channel. There are some awesome setups on there. And the really cool thing that Matt did that we're actually we talked about and we're actually in the process of doing, those long shows that we have that were 3, 4, 5 hours, minimizing them down to a short recap. Matt is also doing. So if you don't have the 45 minutes to an hour to spend watching the show, if you're in a hurry, Matt has those condensed as well. So that's another reason to subscribe to the channel to do that.
Yep.
And whatever you have coming out, people need to be aware of. So if you subscribe, you'll see it when it happens. You can say, I knew that guy when he first started out.
Yeah. Hopefully you could say that.
Exactly. So you can catch me at MTP Flyers on Twitter, Tech Examined here on YouTube. Links down below. My buddy, co-host, Mr. Larry, who, let's just check in with Larry real quick. I know you don't see it till it comes in. Nah, he's still sleeping. Man, he must be really being under the weather.
Yeah.
To do that. You know what? I'll bring him in for the 3-shot for the end there. There we go. You see that pop up there. So
It's got to be a little quiet.
yeah. So you can get Larry, a geeky nerd dad, everywhere. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, Snapchat, Instagram, all that stuff. So, no, it's all good. So again, Matt, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for episode 20. Episode 20. Can you believe it?
Damn, that's crazy, man.
Up to episode 20 already. So, but thank you folks so much. Take it easy. We will be back shortly.